unbolt this bottom piece. One end stood up. We have the cross beam on the bottom safety latch here. Go ahead and take the top caps. Pop them in. We have the power side runway off to the side, but for space saving purposes, we're going to unpackage the other end of the lift and the offside runway and get the two posts stood up, and then we'll do a segment on connecting the two pieces of runway together on each side. tightened up on this one. 1, 2, 3. Fingers. Now lift it up. Finger there.
That?
Pop the pin through. Just clip on the other side. Now that we have the runways in place, Dave's installing the bolts to secure the runways. Those will go on the drive-on side. All right. Prior to installing the cables, the hydraulic ram will need to be extended in order for the cables to reach the top of each post. We're on the first safety latch right now, so we want to move this hydraulic cylinder almost all the way out to the end of the lift. So what Dave's going to do is use his legs here. If you'd like to demonstrate that, Dave, that'd be great. He's got to put his feet on there and give it a push. There you go. That one moved because we've already... Sometimes they're a little harder because they're brand new. This lift's been packaged and unpackaged. That's good. A couple of times. So this one is moving freely for us. Now that we have the hydraulic cylinder extended, ready to receive cables, you uncoil your, next you uncoil your 4 cables and find that you have 4 different cable lengths. What I do to make it easy to remember is I basically take note of the power unit bracket on the post as well as the hole in the runway for your hydraulic fitting. The barrel of the cylinder is here, and and the chrome rod extends out of the cylinder towards this end of the lift. When the lift is on the floor, the chrome rod or the piston is fully extended out of the hydraulic cylinder. When the cylinder is pressurized, the forces of the hydraulic fluid being pressurized into the hydraulic cylinder draw the chrome rod in, pulling on the four cables, causing the runways to rise. And the quick way to establish where you are with respect to the cables is to take your smallest cable located here on the floor. Clearly this is the shortest cable. And I take that cable and run it up through the post, keeping conscious of where the pulley is on the cross rail. So that's your shortest cable, cable number 1. Locate cable number 2, which is going to be the second shortest cable. So if you can picture it, the hydraulic ram is fully extended on this end. The ram is closest to that post, so that's your shortest cable. And then this post here will be your second shortest distance to the cylinder. So get this give this side a cable. Locate your number 3 cable here. Pretty straightforward. I'll adjust that camera backward. Cable number 4 being installed. While I'm under the runway, I'll give you a quick tutorial on cable routing. Shortest cable coming off cylinder in this direction. Bottom pulley. So bottom corner of the chain block or cable block on the end of the hydraulic ram. Around the lower pulley on this end, and then around cable number 3, the third longest. Second longest I should say, comes off of this point on the cable block right above the shortest, runs down around the pulley towards the outside and then straight back around a pulley up to that post. Cable number 2, the second shortest, here around the lower pulley, across and up to the post, and then last but not least, your longest cable will be on the top position here. Straight around the top pulley on this end, back, right past the camera, and we'll turn it around for you. So passes the camera, this is your longest cable. Around this pulley here, across, and then up to the top post. Your hydraulic line under the runway here. You'll have a 90 that comes off the cylinder. It may not look exactly the same as this. Don't panic as long as there's a 90. Hydraulic line will connect to it. Hydraulic hose will pass through 2 eyelets and then a 90-degree fitting on the runway with a jam nut on the outside and a short hydraulic hose to the power unit, which is normally mounted on the corner column there. rod that passes from one end of the lift to the other. Here it's about 13 millimeter diameter. You're connecting it with couplers underneath. And the key is to leave those, adjust the length that you're going to need in order to have the end pieces free. I'll get more into that. The best way, let me just go, I'll hit cut here. Now that we have the long rod in place, we're going to install the short rods on this end, or short rod on this end. Now that we have the safety linkage adjusted exactly the same on each end, what I usually do is power the lift up in the air and get it up on the top safety latch, give myself a little bit more room to work, and then I go underneath and tighten the couplers underneath for your long safety rod that passes end to end. I'll show you that next. Action. Okay, now that we have the safety linkage, the 1/4" linkage, pretty much the same on either end of the lift, take an adjustable wrench and hold the coupler. Here's a 3/4 for your side, Dave. And then with the adjustable in place, tighten the jam nuts against the coupler. And get these good and snug. So now the jam nuts are tight. This coupler makes it so that we can ship the safety rod in 3 pieces so that it'll fit in the packaging. I'm going to bring you down to the next coupler. There's 2 under each runway. Here's your offside safety linkage. So before tightening the couplers down underneath the runway, you want to make sure that you're on the safety locks. All of them are on the same height safety lock, resting on the locks. And you want to match from end to end. You want your 1/4" linkage adjusted exactly the same. This is so that you don't have to go back and readjust everything. Something that I'd like to mention for today's demonstration, we've run a hydraulic line directly to a power unit on our cart here for the warehouse or for demonstration purposes. Normally, there's one hydraulic line that comes off the cylinder underneath, runs to this hole in the runway, and then there's a fitting that you attach that hydraulic hose to. Then a second short line would, so a second short hydraulic hose or line would be installed here and then connected to the power unit. Straighten it. Folks ask me pretty regularly, when do I need to adjust my cables? Well, I mean, my way of doing things may not be the same as everyone else in the lift industry. What I like to do is, if I see the lift resting on its top safety latch, I grab the impact gun again and I adjust the cables. I snug them up. So go ahead, Dave. Pull on. That one there is good. It's pretty good. Give it a little bit. Good. That's good. So we take the slack out of them while they're resting up on the safety latch in its parked position. After you've released the pressure from the cylinder, now you know that you have proper tension. So let's go to the other corner here. Now Dave is a little bit. Go ahead. Good. Yep, give it a little bit. A little bit. Good. All right, now let's do the other two. Folks out in TV land will notice that the last or the longest cable here has some slack in it. So you're ready, Dave. Go ahead. A little more. Good. Not to the point where you're lifting the hoist up, the runways up off the locks, but just to get it tight, snug on the pulley. And now you can come around and do the last cable for adjusting. So the power unit corner cable is your number 3 longest cable. The post offside the power unit would be your longest cable. Dave's tightening the 3rd longest now. You can see it's got some. Yep, good. A little bit more. A little bit more. Good. You know, so now all 4 cables are snug, rest while the runways are resting up on the top safety latch. Right up there. Do these lock bolts. Not too much, yeah, just a little bit. I'll slide the frame out. Demonstration. Push it up. Touches, yep. Just like that. Now we got a 14 millimeter. This way? No. This vantage point with the whole jack. You want the, oh, I see what you're saying. The jack itself. Yep. Right. Push it back. Get a pry bar. Let me stop it. I'll cut I'll do some cutting. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Tickets and concert updates. iHeartRadio welcomes back Paul Stanley Kiss. All right. So, Paul, you know that you create artist stations on iHeartRadio and
Universal Modular, Universal Lift 8000 FP MOD. First modular multi-piece ground deliverable product on the market. By dividing the runways and cross beams, we're able to ground deliver the product via lift gate, as well as provide lighter components for our customers, making the assembly process easier. And that was the goal. So ground delivery and smaller pieces, and it's just so darn rugged with that extra brace in the center of the runway. I just can't tell you. You have to see it yourself to believe it. We have the lift in the full upright position, and we're using our SJ35 to jack the truck up in order to remove the wheel if need be. You know, given the fact that this is a large vehicle and this is our smaller lift, you don't have, I'm not going to say endless clearance, but you have just enough. Here's the level on our piece of channel, our runway channel here. And as you can see, the truck tire is not touching. we're using our, I'm trying to give you the best angle possible, our SJ35 sliding